Welcome back, my friend, to Become Limitless. Today is going to be a heater of an episode. How to actually be happy every day. How do we achieve that ultimate goal that we all want? We're all seeking happiness in any shape or form. But with today's society and conditioning, it's almost like they want to make us believe that we can't be happy every day. You're probably thinking, JP, I think that's impossible. How can I actually be happy and fulfilled every day? I thought that was a miracle. I thought that was impossible. I thought maybe that was only achievable for special people with special gifts. But I'm here to give you the truth that you can be happy every single day. So today, join me on this episode as I share some deep, meaningful stories, but also tools that you can use to start actually being happy every day. This episode is going to be a journey that I'm going to be helping you in a way cut and release the illusions of your mind, the fears, the worries, the things that are keeping you unhappy, because that's where we really need to start. And then from there, when we clean the garden, how do we actually plant new seeds? How do we actually start thinking, feeling, and acting differently to embody this state of being happy every day? So let me take you back a few years. And let me ask you this. The first question we need to ask ourselves is, why am I unhappy right now? If we want to be happy, we first have to figure out, why am I unhappy? And so we can pause and we can sit with that question and we can go a little bit deep. Why is it that I'm putting so much on my plate? Why is it that I'm keeping myself so busy and stressed out and working so much? And I'm achieving, I'm fulfilled, but on a deeper level, why is it that I'm not truly happy? I feel like this is the $1,000,000 question. And the answer to that question is that happiness is not something that you do or that you achieve. It is something that you are. And you can't be happy and fulfilled if you've taught yourself your entire life that happiness is going to come in the future. Let's sit with this one for a moment. You probably think, I'll be happy when I achieve this. I'll be happy when I achieve this next milestone in my business, or when I find my soulmate, or when I reach a certain level of personal or spiritual level. But I want to tell you very honest and frankly that belief, that story will keep you stuck for the rest of your life if you don't break it and release it from your system. Because that is the story of the mind, of what I call the small self, which is your ego. Your ego is simply the past conditioning, speaking as that inner critic, as that inner voice inside of you. And so this little voice is always telling you, I'll be happy when. You'll be happy when we achieve more. And no matter how much you achieve, how much you create success in your life, it will never be enough. Because the mind, your demanding parent, is always telling you, we need to keep doing more. We need to keep being productive. We need to do more things. And let me give you the real perspective of why this happens. It's because your own mind, your small self, has a belief that it itself is not good enough. Let me repeat that. Your ego, your small self, believes that they are not good enough in their own nature. And so they're always wanting to achieve more and more because they don't feel worthy. They feel that they need to prove themselves. They feel that they need to seek validation externally. And so when I sit down with people and I ask them, why is it that you're not happy? Like, you have literally the dream life. Why is it that you're not happy? And so they start to tell me all of the external things, because that's what we do as human beings, right? It's almost like we have this illusion that what's keeping us stuck or unhappy is our life situation, is her or him or my boss or my business or my partner or something out there. But have you ever wondered, what if I redirect that attention inwards and I become aware of the truth? That is harder, right? Because we have the vulnerable and open, but we have to see the truth. We can't keep lying to ourselves and saying that the reason that we're unhappy is because of something out there. This is one of the most important realizations that you need to have, so that you can humble yourself and realize that the only reason why you're really unhappy is because on a deep level, you're not accepting and loving yourself unconditionally. This is reason number 2 why you're unhappy. Reason number 1, as we already learned, is believing that happiness is going to come in the future. We've already determined that that is the story of your mind. I want you to see through this illusion, because that is not true. So as we break free from that story, we go into root cause number 2, not accepting and loving yourself unconditionally, needing to achieve, needing to prove your worth. Sounds familiar? I've been there for all my life almost. And I'm sure you know how much pain and suffering and energy it takes from your life to keep up with this illusion, this narrative that you've built inside, that you need validation, that you need acceptance, that you need approval, that you need love. This is why you're really taking actions, right? The majority of us, and also myself included in the past. But I want you to become aware of something that's really mind blowing. What if I told you that the real reason you've been achieving so much, you think that you want that external validation, that recognition, that respect. But if you pause for a moment, you'll realize that what you really want is your own acceptance, your own love, to give yourself the permission to love and accept yourself fully, the good parts and the quote unquote bad parts, your shadows, the things that you judge yourself. When the inner critic comes and it starts to criticize you, if you learn how to love and accept all of those parts authentically from your heart, not from the mind, then you can start to experience way more freedom, way more happiness, way more fulfillment in the here and now. Because how can you have peace? How can you be happy if you're not accepting yourself? Think about that for a moment. How crazy it is that we get caught up on so many things in the external world, but for some reason we're still not loving or accepting ourselves. So it's time to pause the busyness and it's time to look inwards. It's time to take responsibility for the wounds, the beliefs, the trapped emotions, the uncomfortable feelings that we have inside. And it's time to start working through that so that we can unlock a deeper level of acceptance and love of ourselves. You're literally the only person who can give you this. So let's flip the switch and let's start asking ourselves, how can I love and accept myself more? How can I do that? How can I give myself the respect that I deserve, the treatment that I deserve? Because from personal experience, and I'm sure you've had this experience too, our inner critic is the harshest with us. When we don't achieve something that we expected, oh, that little voice is going to destroy you. And that is not healthy. That is not living in your true nature. You've probably not be friends with your critic, but for some reason, we seem to just accept everything that comes into our minds through that voice. And that's not even the worst part. The worst part is that we believe everything that inner voice says. And that destroys and undermines your own self-worth, your confidence, and your personal power. So after this episode, I invite you to journal and really write down, why is it that I'm unhappy? Why am I not allowing myself to be happy with all of the blessings that I already have in the here and now? And that leads us to the third and final reason why you're not happy. This third reason is very simple. It is the fact that you are not honoring the present moment. Your relationship with the present moment is dysfunctional, as it was for me for many years. But if you realize that everything that happens in your life is always happening in this moment, then you can start to remember just how important it is to make this present moment the main priority of your life. There's literally nothing more important than this moment. I love to give the analogy of going out to an incredible dinner, let's say a Michelin star restaurant. And this literally explains the mechanism of this whole episode. So you sit down, let's say you're getting a 12-course meal with the best chef in the world. Imagine that experience. Maybe you pay a couple of $1,000s for it. Maybe you've been waiting for this experience your entire life. But what happens? What sabotages that happiness, that fulfillment? What happens is, as you're in the third course, is you're thinking, mental labeling, this is the most delicious course, delicious meal that I've ever had. This is incredible. But as you start eating that dish, that meal, what happens? Your mind, your conditioning, your programming, they start to take you away from the present moment and into an illusory future that does not exist. And your mind starts to trick you into bringing your full attention into the future. And it starts to tell you, wow, I wonder what the next course will be. I wonder how delicious the dessert will be. And you start to crave the dessert or the coffee or the next meal. But then you lose the fulfillment now. You stop tasting, you stop enjoying, you stop being present with that delicious meal from the best chef in the world because your mind is thinking about the next meal, about the dessert. And guess what happens when you get that dessert? So now let's flip the scene. Let's move on to the next one. Now you're having the dessert. And you're like, wow, finally, I didn't enjoy too much the other meal, but now I'm in the dessert. This is what I've been waiting for. Guess what happens? You start eating the dessert, and then surely you start getting that inner voice, the inner chatter. Wow, I've heard they had delicious coffee here. I've heard they have the most incredible coffee in the world in this restaurant. I'm so excited. I want to try it. I wonder what it tastes like. And you get lost in this mental chatter. And then what is happening in the here and now? You're not enjoying the dessert. You're not enjoying the present that life is giving you right now. That is why it is called the present moment, because it is a gift from life. So if you take radical responsibility and you make the present moment the main priority of your life, you'll find more fulfillment and happiness that you could have ever dreamed of. This is not something that you logically understand and you think, yes, I know I need to be more present. This is something that you have to experience with your body, with your heart, so that you understand what I'm really saying here. That goes beyond words. I'll wrap it up by saying, present moment is all you ever have. So don't lose the opportunity to make it your friend, to love and accept the present moment, just as you've remembered to love and accept yourself. So once we find full acceptance of ourselves, we can move on to fully accepting and loving the present moment. And that's when life takes off. That's when life becomes effortless. And it's going to take you a while because right now you might be in a hamster wheel. The mind has too much momentum and it's become the master of your house. Right now, the majority of society is the servant of the mind instead of the master. So the instrument has taken over. And that is the real pandemic that we find ourselves in. And as you can see, I've been the servant, but now I am the master. And I want to share this with you because I want to inspire you to know that it is 100% possible for you to also become the master of your mind once again, so that you can be happy every single day, so that you can be fulfilled and connect with your true nature. And this is possible. I'm literally the living proof. I don't want you to think that this is only meant for special people or whatever your mind is trying to create an excuse for. This is real, this is truth, and this is possible for you because it was for me. Literally 5 years ago, I was addicted to negative thinking. I was addicted to worrying. I was addicted to overthinking. And I was the most shy and insecure person I knew. I literally lived in my mind 24/7. I had crippling anxiety from the moment that I woke up to the moment that I went to sleep. And even then, my mind wouldn't shut up. It would keep on thinking in my dreams. I would remember I would wake up in the middle of the night with insomnia, and the mind wouldn't stop thinking, and it drove me crazy, drove me nuts. And I was doing all of these productive things, even starting my entrepreneurship journey, working, doing so many beautiful things, traveling the world. But I was stuck in unhappiness. And that unhappiness was rooted in my mind. And it was a crazy, wild journey. But if I was able to do it with so much trauma, with so much fear, with so many limiting beliefs, with so much shyness, that I would people please all over the place. I would let people step over me. I would never imagine 5 years ago that I would be able to deliver this message today with the power and the energy that I'm transmitting to you. I was on the other side, listening to all of these successful people in the different industries, and I didn't believe that it was possible for me. But the deeper that I went into my journey, the more suffering and pain that I experienced. And it was a really freaking hard time. But the pain was so deep, the stress, the tension in my body drove me almost to the place of madness where I couldn't take it any longer. And I had to surrender my mind. I was forced to look for holistic solutions to my problems. And these 3 lessons that I've shared with you today of believing that happiness will come in the future, not accepting and loving yourself fully, and then not making the present moment the main priority of your life, probably cost me the most pain for 20 plus years. And so I really want you to connect and know just how powerful these lessons are, just how life-changing they can be for you. But the only step that you need to make is believing and knowing that this is possible for you. Because I'll tell you something, your mind is going to tell you that you can't. And that's how the mind works, because it want to keeps you in the familiar, it want to keeps you safe, but it only wants to protect itself. And that's what I mean by switching and reversing the roles of the servant and the master. So I want you to lead yourself back to your truth, back to your birthright, which is freedom, peace, and happiness every single day. Take this episode to heart, commit to it, and I want to leave you with an action step for today and for this week. So that is not only listening and learning, but actually implementing. I want you to take action. And your action step for today is sitting down and writing this question: why am I really unhappy? What do I need to give myself to be happy? And the third one is, why is my mind so preoccupied of wanting to live in the future or in the past instead of the present moment? And when you honestly answer those 3 questions, you're going to get to your truth. And your action step for the week is to just become aware of how many times a day your mind is taking you into a fake future or a fake past. You can write them down. I remember when I did this, it was like more than 100 times. We don't even notice. And then we wonder why we're not happy. So those action steps are going to be really powerful for you. I love it. I'm so excited for you. I wish I could see your face. That excitement after you take these action steps and you see the changes in your life. I love you. I'm sending you all the best. And I'll see you back here next week. Today's episode is brought to you by Transcendence Healing, aka me. I have one overarching goal, and that is to help you remove the blocks that are preventing you from reaching your full potential and making a bigger impact in the world. This is the journey that I've been obsessed over the last 5 years. And this is how Transcendence Healing was born. Transcendence Healing is a holistic blend of brainwave state change, of energy healing, and subconscious reprogramming that allows you to instantly experience permanent and profound transformations in all areas of your life. I feel that it is now time to bring this to a community, to scale this goodness, and to give these tools to people who want to learn them for themselves, for their loved ones, and perhaps even for their clients. This is Transcendence University, the all-inclusive online community where you get access to weekly calls with me, where you get access to the entire framework, the 12 steps of transcendence healing, where you go on a journey and you clear on all 12 dimensions of your life all of those invisible blocks that are preventing you from reaching your full potential. You're going to get access to so many resources, connections, experiences. I invite you to join Transcendence University. That's going to be the journey of a lifetime. Very excited to see you on the other side and connect with you.